Okay. I pushed the wrong button. I had paused the video and then I stopped it. So we have a really short video and then we're going to come into this one. As I was saying in the last video, that when with pain receptors, these are going to be free nerve endings for the most part. They're going to be free nerve endings, and what do? They are going to respond to injury or damage to the nerve itself and to hot and cold. And I'd mentioned the swimming pool example, but that you feel it's very painful when you jump into the pool, and it's because of these pain receptors that are responding to the cold temperature. Now, so these are going to be free nerve endings, and they are going to respond to damage or hot and cold temperatures. So I'm going to pause the video again, and hopefully this time I'll remember to push the right button. Okay, so we were just talking about pain receptors, and to sort of go along with that, people have studied there are chemicals that are produced in your body that are there to produce a sensation of pain. Now you might wonder, why would your body want you to sense pain? And of course, the obvious answer is that you need to know if there's a problem. We had said pain receptors are going to respond to physical damage or hot and cold, and in all cases, these can be injurious. So we have pain receptors. They're there for a very important reason. Now, people that are studying these nociceptors, we had said these are pain receptors. A chemical that they have identified that elicits intense pain is something called a bradykinin. And so bradykinins are chemicals that are going to produce an intense sensation of pain. The way they know this is through clinical studies, and this is where people sign on, like we're seeing today, to test the potential new vaccines. Well, I can just imagine being one of the people who signed on for this study where they give you a shot with something that produces an intense sensation of pain. But anyway, that's how they have identified this. All right, so sometimes you may have noticed that when you hit your elbow, maybe, you may have noticed that what you'll end up doing is you rub it. So why are you rubbing it? You may have wondered about this. The reason that you're rubbing it is we have something called the descending analgesic pathway. And now, while pain is an important signal to your body that you have a problem, once you know about it, it's not inappropriate to try and reduce the sensation of pain. And so we do have this descending analgesic pathway. And what it's going to do is it has two different functions. It's going to send a signal down to release enkephalins. Now, you might remember we had said enkephalins are a pain-killing neurotransmitter substance. So it goes down in your spine. So this is located in your spine. It sends a signal down your spine to the postsynaptic neuron. Remember, we have the first neuron comes from the effector. That's what we're talking about. These are these sensory structures. And it is going to synapse. It's going to have its first synapse in your spinal cord with a postsynaptic neuron. And what the analgesic pathway does is it releases enkephalins onto the postsynaptic neuron to reduce the pain signal. And then another signal is sent down from your brain, which is going to hyperpolarize, meaning you send fewer signals up to your brain, hyperpolarize again this postsynaptic neuron. So we have ways, we've talked about the importance of pain, and we have ways of mitigating pain, reducing the pain signal. I'm going to pause it again. All right, I'm back. We were just saying that we were just talking about pain signals, and now we're going to change to another kind of receptor. We said pain signals, those are free nerve endings. That's the receptor. Now, when we talk about your sense of smell or your sense of taste, it is going to involve a chemoreceptor. And we have chemoreceptors have different specificities. And what does that mean? That means that they're going to bind to very specific kinds of chemicals and send a signal to your brain. So all of those different kinds of smells that you smell, the way you can distinguish them is by the different types of chemoreceptors that are found in your nose that will bind to different types of odorants. When we talk about a dog having an incredibly keen sense of smell, that means it can distinguish a large number of different odorants. So in both the sense of smell and the sense of taste, we're going to have chemoreceptors. And we had said that the receptors for your sense of smell, olfactory receptors, are one of the two places where we're constantly producing new neurons. Why is that? Because they're exposed to these toxic chemicals in the world, and so they're damaged. So you are all the time having to replace these receptors for the sense of smell. And what happens with the receptor, I've written on the board here, I said chemosensory receptors bind to specific chemicals. When the receptor has bound with the chemical, this is either in sense of smell or taste, an action potential is sent to your brain. So you are able to sense the smell. Now, you can sense many more smells than you can taste. With taste, we basically have the 5 different senses. We have sweet, sour, salty, umami, which is savory, and what is the bitter, and bitter. So you're only able to distinguish these 5 different categories of flavors in detecting gustation, which is the sense of taste. In gustation, you only are able to distinguish with these 5 different senses, but you also pull in all of this information from your sense of smell. So when you've had a cold, you've probably noticed that food doesn't taste as good. That's because your sense of smell is blocked by nasal congestion and that kind of thing. So we have both the sense of taste and the sense of smell is going to involve these structures that we know as chemoreceptors. They are receptors that will bind to very specific chemicals. What I'm going to do is, this is the end of this first little video, and now the next one we'll talk about vision, photoreception. So that's this one for now.